And happy Thanksgiving 2023. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis, as well as the Thanksgiving Day price actions beginning from 2010 all the way to this year. Also in today's show, Javier Milei's presidential victory fuels optimism in Argentina's Bitcoin community. And quoting the high priest of Bitcoin, Max Kaiser, President Bukele is the beginning of this new trend of reinventing the social contract and making Bitcoin legal tender. Javier Milei will tell you the same. The El Salvador Bitcoin team is looking forward to our diplomatic mission to Argentina to establish renewed cooperation. Preach. Also in today's show, BlackRock met with the SEC officials to discuss the spot Bitcoin ETF. Also, the SEC recently met with Grayscale on November 20th in the asset manager's bid for listing that Bitcoin ETF. Also in today's show, is Binance's $4 billion settlement the green light for the spot Bitcoin ETFs? I'll be breaking this down for you, as well as a Bitcoin super cycle next year in 2024. Could this be the one cycle to end them all? We'll be discussing it, as well as Bitcoin to $1 million per coin post ETF approval. Quoting Samson Mow right here, it has come to my attention that there are some Bitcoiners that don't think Bitcoin can reach $1 million per coin in a matter of days or weeks after the ETF money starts flowing in. They're in for a pleasant surprise. He also shares we'll see a seismic shift to Bitcoin and sound money. The next 5 years will be incredible, and he lists the specific countries he believes will make Bitcoin legal tender next, along with the timelines. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more in today's show. Welcome everyone just joining us. Happy Thanksgiving. First and foremost, I am so grateful to each and every one of you, all the subscribes, all the likes over the years. We've had this channel now going on 6 years. This is podcast episode number 1470. Let's freaking go. What up, Steve Kingston says the whole world should get rid of dirty fiat and start using Bitcoin. Preach. Gobble, gobble. That's Bitcoin eating up the altcoin market right now. And how's the stream? Let me know if we're smooth as a baby's bottom. Hodl King, what it do, fam? Good to see ya. We can see the Bitcoin price action hovering at around 37,300. Not too shabby. We're looking to retest 38 and break through that mofo once and for all. Welcome to y'all just tuning in. What up, Bit Granny? Appreciate the Thanksgiving wishes. What up, Damien Coin? Loud and clear. Good to hear. Music to my ears. Shout out to all my fam over in Ireland and everyone out there in Europe. What the frick? 13% down. What are you looking at? That's not 13%, fam. That's $13. So it basically means we're kind of just borderline for the day compared for the past 24 hours. Everything is streaming well today. Thank God. Shout out to our moderators, Digital Dankness, Bitcoin Maximus, the Coin Father, Streamlabs, and the rest of the crew. I appreciate it very much. What it do, Maximus? Good to see you, fam. Yes, it smashes the like and stacks the sats. Gotta love that. Smooth stream. Good stuff, fam. Yeah, so a lot's going on in the markets. I have a lot of news. This may be the episode of the year, in all honesty, because the stories I'm going to share with you are going to be mind-blowing. We're talking about bullishness to a whole new level while keeping it real at the same time, as we do here on Crypto News Alerts each and every day. So without further ado, if you're new to the channel, be sure to smash that subscribe button, as you'll receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day just like this. You also get an on-screen shout out from yours truly. Also be sure to smash the like button as it helps out tremendously with that YouTube algorithm. And let's kick it off. Today is podcast episode number 1470. I'm your host, JV. Today is Turkey Day. Happy Thanksgiving, fam, to all of y'all. Today is November 23rd, 2023. Let's kick it off with our market watch. You should be able to see here on your screen, Bitcoin back in the green. Let's go. Trading at 37,300. Not too shabby considering the $4.3 billion fine from the world's largest crypto exchange, Binance, and CZ, the CEO, stepping down. This just goes to show you how bullish the market is. There's really nothing that can be done to stop the momentum we're about to witness. So stay tuned. You have Ether correcting, but still above 2,000. It started breaking out yesterday. BNB is only down 0.5% on the day. And again, that's the native token of Binance. We have XRP in the green, Cardano in the green, and they say when in doubt, just zoom out. Not that I'm in doubt, but hey, I like to see the monthly gains. We got Bitcoin up 13% in the past month. We have Ether up 17%, BNB up 2.5%, XRP up 14%, Cardano up 36%, and Solana up 77%. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, the current crypto market cap is sitting at 1.41 trillion with roughly 49 billion in volume the past 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance at 51.5% even, and the Ether dominance at 17.5%. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers of the past 24 hours, we got Clayton up 11%, trading above 22 cents, followed by Gas up 10%, trading at $8.55, followed by Mantle up roughly 10%, trading just above 50 cents. Now, which altcoins, if any, are you most bullish on for this bull run? Let me know in the comments right down below. And checking out Crypto Bubble so you can get a broader perspective and visual of the overall market right now in the day. We got a lot in the green, but many also correcting and in the red. And zooming out for the weekly, we have Blur up 47%, Tau up 45%. Even the native FTX token, FTT, is up a whopping 28%. And checking out on the monthly, virtually everything in the green, even scam token FTT, up over 300%. Wild, right? And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, today we are rated a 66, which is greed. Yesterday was a 62. Last week was a 70, and last month a 66 in greed. So there you have it, my crypto fam. How many of you are currently bullish on the King Crypto? Make some motherfucking noise. Let's get it. I appreciate y'all just joining us. Nate says, happy day, all you turkeys. That's what's up, Nate. Much love, much respect. Thanks for the Thanksgiving Day Bitcoin update. You're very welcome, Matt. It's my honor. I love doing this show 7 days a week, 365 days out of the year, because it's my mission, and I'm dedicated to providing you with the best crypto news physically possible, spiritually possible, mentally possible. You get the point. What up, PHX? Let's freaking go. JV, I appreciate the love. Thanks for the support as always. Just Another Fool says you are so right. And don't forget, this is a live and interactive show. There is a live poll. I encourage you to cast your vote. And at the end of the show, we'll read the results out loud. And the poll says Bitcoin to 1 million post ETF launch. Will it be days or weeks after, as Samson Mow predicts? I'm going to be covering that prediction later on in the show. Will it be months after or years after? Or nah, that's never going to happen? I want to know your honest thoughts. What it do, J-Dub the Laker, 21 mil. Happy Thanksgiving, my family. I appreciate each and every one of you for every single sub over the years, all the likes and all the comments. You guys are the bomb diggity. Steve Kingston in the building. Greg Miranda, gobble up some sats, hodling long. Shout out to all my long-term hodlers. That's how you get it done. Good stuff. I'd love to know some of your conversations at the dinner table this evening with some of your fam. That's got to be interesting, right? Let me know. What up? Mark Finelli, appreciate you tuning in as well, fam. Bitcoin Imagineer, welcome to the live show. Leslie Thompson, I appreciate your super chat you sent a little earlier. You're awesome. Much love and much respect. And to the rest of you, Matthew J, what it do? Spycraft UK, Security Gadget says a green light is a go. It's not going to take long for Bitcoin to hit big with FOMO once it is on. Amen. Shout out to OG Backroad Crypto Bootleg, one of my favorite individuals representing in the building. Crypto News Alerts, let's go. Yes. And OGs, yes, lots of OGs in the building. Shout out to Barry BTC. Greetings from Amsterdam to the best show on YouTube. Much respect, fam. I greatly appreciate that. We have a lot to cover, so let's just dive in and kick it off with, now we did the market watch, let's dive into our Bitcoin technical analysis. Check out the charts where the Bitcoin price action is most likely to go next. Here we go, and welcome. Bitcoin took a fresh aim at 38 G's, baby, into November 23rd as an aggressive bid dispelled cold feet over Binance's $4.3 billion fine, which is the 7th largest fine in the history of paying fines. And here you're looking at the Bitcoin 1 hour candle chart. Now, my question is, where does all this money go that they collect? If they were smart, they would just gobble up some Bitcoin and stack sats. But I'd like to know what you think. Now, data from Cointelegraph and TradingView showed the price strength of Bitcoin making a striking comeback to top out at 37,870. Again, so close to 38,000, but a subsequent cooling kept the market near 37.5, with the mood markedly different from 24 hours prior. Then concerns over the U.S. legal action against the largest exchange, Binance, sparked the cascade of long liquidations, which only ended at 1-week lows. Quoting Dan Crypto Trades, Bitcoin almost back at the top of the range. The 38,000 level remains my main level of interest. So all eyes right now on 38 Gs. And I believe once we blow past that, the next resistance is going to be at roughly the $42,000 mark. Now the bounce ended up equally impressive and appeared to catch some market participants by surprise with its intensity. Quoting Ninja, Bitcoin, some thick buy walls over here on the spot Binance market. Have not seen such an aggressive bid for a while. Something is cooking. So what's cooking? You guys let me know. A popular narrative once again involved the potential US go-ahead for the Bitcoin spot ETF, something that could be less than 50 days away, with the next big deadline being January 10th. So events at Binance were reported may have provided a timely backdrop for the first US approval of the long-awaited institutional investment product. Quoting Mr. Crypto, Grayscale updated their Bitcoin ETF app. There is definitely something going on. And I would agree, especially with all these meetings. Grayscale recently had a meeting with the SEC 3 days ago. BlackRock just had a meeting with the SEC. So there's ongoing dialogue, which is definitely a good omen that an ETF is likely to come sooner than later. And analyzing the situation, we have Pentoshi, who suggests that the stars might be aligning for the Bitcoin price upside thanks to the ETF-induced demand. So regardless of the price action, he added, the approval would mean the beginning of substantial multi-decades TradeFi allocation, quoting him here on X. Here's a simple thesis, game theory, 49 days until ETF. Many sideline people, each passing day equals more pressure to allocate as the clock ticks. Tick-tock, next block. Dips possible, but the window is closing. Will it be a local top? Maybe. Will it be the beginning of a substantial multi-decades? You guys let me know. And we're going to discuss Samson Mow in great detail later on in the show. I pulled up some of his recent tweets and his bullishness, predicting the Bitcoin will surpass $1 million days or weeks after the approval of the ETF and once the money starts flowing in to these products. Now let's discuss the RSI reset, boosting the short-term bullish thesis. Eyeing the prospect of upside returning, we have Cold-Blooded Schiller, what a username, was amongst those bullish on the relative strength index, which is the RSI. These had been reset by a trip to the weekly lows, he concluded, paving the way for another impulse higher. This was the case not only for Bitcoin, but also for Ethereum and some other major alts. Quoting him here, the reason this is so important is that usually when the RSI is in this position, it's the basis for a fresh position. Strong trending markets tend to hold this level. Getting down towards that cool-off region indicates that corrections are complete and the trend resumes. As outlined here in this chart, looking pretty bullish. This is the 1 day with the RSI, again, the relative strength index. So let me know how many of you are currently bullish on the King Crypto. And now let's take a look at the Thanksgiving Day Bitcoin price actions dating back from 2010. Now, by a sign of hands, how many of you were involved in Bitcoin back then when it was only 28 cents? Probably not many of you, right? But isn't that crazy? In 2010, Bitcoin was trading at 28 cents. The following year, we were trading at $2.49. Then in 2012, I believe that was the year of the halving, it jumped to $12.51. And again, this is on Thanksgiving Day specifically. Then in 2013, it went to $813, like, whoa. And I want to point out, it's the year preceding the halving. We had a halving in 2012, the year after, parabolic to a whole new level, $813 per coin. Good Lord. Then in 2014, it was a bear market, 376, followed by in 2015, 328. Then the next Bitcoin halving occurred in 2016. It was $739. And look again, the year preceding the halving in 2017, we hit almost $9,000 per coin. Are you starting to notice the pattern? The year after the halving, we go parabolic. Then in 2018, and 2019, we had bear markets. We had 4,000 and 7,000 collectively. Then in 2020, another halving occurred. How many of you witnessed this halving of 2020? Let me know in the chat. We traded at almost $20,000 per coin. Then the year preceding the halving, check it out. It's like $58,927. So you start to notice the pattern, meaning in 2024, it's going to be a good year, but 2025 is going to be a hell of a year because the price action tends to go parabolic. So there you have it. My crypto fam, let me know which year you discovered Bitcoin and got into this incredible market. Bango, what it do, fam? Welcome, welcome. Oh, Nipsey's looking nice and comfy. You already know Dankness. I just gave him one of his Thanksgiving bones, and he is feeling good. Thanks for your dedication, Roger. Shout out Roger. JB is the man. Been watching him for 4 years. Massive shout out to Roger Alexander. I appreciate that. Crypto Surge, the SEC pockets and money and course into Bitcoin. They are not dumb. Yes, that's like an insane amount of money. $1 billion is 1,000 millions. Like, what is all this money going to do, right? JV, what is Thanksgiving? That's a great question. I believe it's a time for us to reflect and ponder what we're so grateful for. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you tuning in on a regular basis. Massively grateful for Digital Dankness helping behind the scenes, creating these overlays, including the Thanksgiving theme for today. In the shorts, we have a shorts channel, which we created a couple of months back, which can be found at clips.cryptonewsalerts.net. And what we're doing is taking segments, shorts, and clips from these live streams on the main channel and putting them exclusively on the new channel. So make sure to subscribe there if you're not already subscribed. MJ, what it do? Emilio Gonzalez, I appreciate that super chat. You're the bomb diggity. Much love and much respect. Shout out to Aditya. Hey bro, what it do, broski? Welcome to the crew, the fam. Bitcoin found me in 2022. That's a great perspective, great way to put it. Late 2018, I started buying Bitcoin, says Jack. For me, it was 2017. Bitcoin was roughly $1,500 a coin, and it ran up to almost $20,000 that same year, which was insanity. What up, Corey Graham? He says Doge Lawn Mars in 2024. So now I know what coin you're bullish on. I find that coin name is hilarious because it's Doge and Mars in the same token name. Appy, what is that? Hey everybody, what up, Melda? Welcome to the party. Good to see ya. It's not a party until Melda joins us, so much love. Good to see ya on Thanksgiving. Jack says late 2018, you started buying Bitcoin. Good stuff. Who is the biggest OG here? Who started buying Bitcoin before everyone else? Anyone can say they started buying Bitcoin, say back in 2014? Let me know. It's interesting. I love to look back and reflect and check out the price actions and see how far we have come. What up, Bitcoin Trini in the building? Happy Thanksgiving, fam. Sold my house and put it all in July. Now that's hardcore. Massive congratulations on your conviction and smart move, especially for the long haul. Thoughts on RWA cryptos? I don't even know what that stands for or means, so I don't really have any thoughts, fam. I wish I did, Chris. You know what I mean? Emilio, happy Thanksgiving in Spanish. Yes, that too. Appreciate it. 2020 of December, Roger got in. That's what's up. So a lot of you guys have already experienced a bull cycle and you're about to experience another. We know Bitcoin moves in 4-year cyclical cycles, which tends to bring the new bull with the new all-time highs, price discovery mode, and all the loveliness that comes along with it in crypto. But without further ado, we still have so much to share. So let's dive into our next story of the day and discuss Bitcoin adoption in Argentina with their new pro-Bitcoin president, Javier Milei. And shout out to Javier Milei. Good guy right here, looking to abolish the central banks. He's speaking my language. This is a pretty long article, so I may just scroll through to some of the highlights. Right here it says, many Argentinians now look forward to sweeping reforms. Camilo de Leon, the vice president of Bitcoin Argentina, reminded the incoming president to keep his electoral promises. Quoting him here, Bitcoin is for monetary freedom, and that was precisely one of the proposals of the president-elect. As Bitcoiners, we hope he fulfills his promise. Now we have some of the Bitcoin team from El Salvador also going to be flying down to meet Javier Milei and discuss the blueprint of Nayib Bukele and El Salvador as they're most likely to adopt Bitcoin as the legal tender. Now the news politics of Argentina, or these are the new politics. His headline policies include blowing up the central bank. Let me know if he's speaking your language, fam. To prevent money printing, ditching the peso in favor of the US dollar. Another interesting take. And scrapping almost every form of welfare in the country. The president-elect confirmed his future plan for government departments in a dramatic video circulating on social media. Here's what it said. Ministry of Sports and Tourism out, said Milei. Ministry of Culture out. Ministry of the Environment and Sustainable Development out. In the video, he punctuates every cut by tearing the name of the department off the whiteboard and tossing it aside. This guy is a trip. As it's shared here on Talk TV, Argentina's new president and Donald Trump fan, Milei, has promised to radically change the country. Could he succeed? And will he keep to his word is the million-dollar question. What are your thoughts? Here's Milei's thoughts on the King Crypto. While President-elect Milei may embody a maverick spirit that appeals to Bitcoiners and the ideological proclivities of the cryptosphere, that is not the same thing as actively supporting it. The president-elect previously outlined why Bitcoin is useful as a monetary instrument, free from the state control. In a video posted to Reddit's Bitcoin thread 11 months ago, he stated that position. Quoting him here, what is the point? The point is that the first thing we have to understand is that the central bank is a scam. Preach. It is a mechanism by which politicians cheat good people with inflationary tax. What Bitcoin is representing is the return of money to its original creator, the private sector. Very powerful words. He also shares Bitcoin is the natural reaction against central bank scammers, and to make money, private again. So let's make money, private again. The new president may praise Bitcoin as a financial instrument, but that is somewhat different from what a Bitcoin advocate may wish for. Undoubtedly, there are those who hope Argentina will adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender. Personally, I am hopeful this can occur in 2024. Now, Cointelegraph asked what the election of Milei means for the crypto advocates, and here's what he had to share. I don't believe this will drastically alter the current landscape. Argentines have been embracing Bitcoin and other cryptos for many years. Let's not forget hyperinflation, right? My hope is that in the long term, Argentina becomes more entrepreneur-friendly, prosperous, and free, helping to mend the significant cracks in the country's foundational structure. And he also added that widespread adoption of Bitcoin across the nation may be slow if 50% of the citizens live below the poverty line and lack an understanding of savings concepts. I believe that could all be changed quick because Bitcoin is banking the unbanked. How many people in Argentina are not qualified to open up a bank account, but all of them have a smartphone? They can access Bitcoin via the Lightning Network. Just saying. Now, as for the million-dollar question, will Bitcoin become legal tender in Argentina? According to this guy, Nikolic, he suggests legal tender certification may be marginally less important than it seems. According to him, here's what he shared. I am of the view that adoption is more robust when it emerges organically from the grassroots, rather than being imposed top-down. I am hopeful that Bitcoin adoption in Argentina will continue to flourish, especially as the country's progresses under Milei's leadership and its people begin to experience improved living conditions. Now, the population of Argentina is way larger than El Salvador. We're talking about roughly 50 million residents. Now, it also shares the economics of Argentina. And what else have we here? Who is Javier Milei? But let me just read this tweet from Kristalina Georgieva, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Congratulations to the president-elect, Javier Milei. We look forward to working closely with him and his administration in the period ahead to develop and implement a strong plan to safeguard macroeconomic stability and strengthen inclusive growth for all Argentines. Now, Max Kaiser shared this. President Bukele is the beginning of this new trend of reinventing the social contract and making Bitcoin a legal tender. Javier Milei will tell you the same. The Bitcoin El Salvador team is looking forward to our diplomatic mission to Argentina to establish a renewed cooperation. Now leave it up to Max. There's no doubt in my mind he will orange pill Milei, and Milei will adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender if he truly is who he says he is. And Max was actually responding to this quote. There is every reason to believe Milei is just the beginning of a new trend that could spread all over the world. People are fed up and are ready for a radical new direction. Something has to be done to stop the relentless march of the forces of tyranny in the Western nations. Preach. So there you have it. Let me know if you feel Argentina and Javier Milei will likely adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender as 50 million people get introduced to Bitcoin. Let's freaking go. What it do, DJ? Welcome, fam. All Orwellian programs out. Amen. Well said. What up, Jack? Damn, I bought it for $219. Oh my God. Are you saying you bought your first Bitcoin for only $219? Talk about winning. Lightning Network doesn't work. Why do you say that? Of course the Lightning Network works. They're using it all across the world. We have Strike CEO Jack Mallers. I believe that Strike app is now available in hundreds of countries around the world as well. So I don't know why you would say it doesn't work. It's actually the solution to the scaling problem. Shout out MSPW. Appreciate you subscribing to the channel. And the beauty of the Lightning Network, regardless of the congestion of the blockchain for Bitcoin, it doesn't matter. Even though the fees right now are astronomically high due to ordinals, the BRC20 tokens, I believe I read a statistic that the Bitcoin fees are up over 700% on the year and are now 3 times the fees of Ethereum's network. And we all know the gas fees on our Ethereum have been insane for quite some time. But the solution to that is the layer 2 called the Lightning Network, because you can send and receive money virtually free and instantaneous, making it a no-brainer. What up, Jay Bravo? Bitcoin supercycle coming. That's actually going to be one of our stories later. We're going to be discussing a 2024 Bitcoin supercycle to end them all. You know what I mean? More monkey business. Lightning Network's got a backdoor. Okay. JV is the king of crypto streamers. Thank you, Tobias. I greatly appreciate the kind words. Happy Thanksgiving for everyone just tuning in and joining us on today's live stream. I appreciate all of your support. Boz Dragon in the building. Do we know which countries Max thinks will make Bitcoin legal tender in 2024? Later in the show, I'm going to be sharing with you, I think 5, 6, or 7 countries that Samson Mow believes will make Bitcoin legal tender, along with the dates, meaning the years alongside of it. And I have a feeling Max is probably going to be in the same environment as his predictions as Samson Mow, because they work together. They're both a part of the team over there in El Salvador and helping usher in massive Bitcoin adoption for the governments around the world. Tracy Garrison, thank you so much for subscribing to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. I greatly appreciate that. My speculation, I'm going to throw Mexico out there because we have Ricardo Salinas, the 3rd richest man in Mexico. His best investment has been Bitcoin. He said that in his own words. And the majority of his portfolio right now is also in Bitcoin. Also, I always see Samson Mow talking with politicians and the big players, talking about the big boys over there in Mexico. So if I was to guess, I would throw Mexico on the list as well as Argentina on the list. But you guys let me know, because towards the end of the show, I'll be reading all the countries Samson Mow says is going to be adopting Bitcoin as legal tender along with the years. Like the stream. Thank you, Bo Kana. Greatly appreciate that. You know what I mean? How do you use the Lightning Network is a great question. I say Google it, but all you got to do is download an app and you can just zap sats to anyone. I have a Lightning Network as well. I actually received a tip the other day. I got an email notification, so thank you to whoever zapped me those sats. But it just makes sending and receiving Bitcoin effortlessly. So I highly recommend the Lightning Network. Yeah, thank you, JV, for all the all the mods. Rock on. Word up. You all want birds with Thanksgiving, I heard. Word. Happy Thanksgiving. You guys are lit. Let's go. Let's dive into our next story of the day as the Bitcoin price action continues to pump. We're finally back in the green on the day. Let's go. Now let's discuss BlackRock ETF with the SEC. They just had a meeting with them, and Grayscale just had a meeting with them as well to discuss this dialogue. So let's break down the insights, what's going on behind closed doors. Here we go. Representatives from BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, controls roughly $10 trillion in assets under management, and the NASDAQ met with the United States SEC to discuss the proposed rule allowing the listing of a spot Bitcoin ETF. Now, some say that BlackRock is the United States government because of how powerful they are. Let me know if you agree with that sentiment. According to a November 20th SEC memo, BlackRock provided a presentation detailing how the firm could use an in-kind or in-cash redemption model for its iShares Bitcoin trust. Now, it's currently unclear how the SEC officials responded to the 2 proposed models, or if they intend to approve the spot Bitcoin ETF after numerous delays and rejections. And quoting the ETF analyst from Bloomberg, James Seyfarth, he says, looks like BlackRock also met with the SEC. There is a couple of slides in relation to in-kind versus cash creation. Based on the looks of it, looks like BlackRock prefers in-kind for their Bitcoin ETF. Makes sense, as it probably is the cleanest structure for them and for the end investors. And as he shared here prior, Grayscale also had meetings with the SEC Division of Trading and Markets yesterday. This was posted on the 22nd, so this probably occurred on I think it was on the 20th. Have also heard rumblings of other potential spot Bitcoin ETF issuers meeting with the SEC in the last week or so. So Gary Gensler must be busy. Now, many reports have suggested that the SEC could be nearing its decision on the spot Bitcoin ETF for a listing in the US markets. About time. We've only been waiting over a decade. Now, if approved, it would mean one of the most significant positive trends towards mainstream crypto adoption. SEC officials also met with Grayscale reps November 20th in the firm's bid for listing the Bitcoin ETF. And if you don't know Grayscale, they're the owner of the GBTC product, which is a Bitcoin trust that currently custodies over 620,000 BTC, making them the largest Bitcoin hodler in the entire world. Now, BlackRock is one of the many firms with spot crypto ETF apps in the SEC pipeline, currently awaiting a response, including Fidelity, Wisdom Tree, Invesco, Galaxy, Valkyrie, Van Eck, and Bitwise. The asset management company first applied for a listing of the spot Bitcoin ETF back in June on the NASDAQ stock exchange. And since then, Bitcoin has been pumping like a mofo, you already know. In a video of the SEC chairman, Gary Gensler, from 2019 resurfaced in October, in which he criticized the commission's inconsistent approach to spot Bitcoin products. It is unclear whether the SEC chair will get behind efforts for crypto-linked investment vehicles, but the commission has previously approved ETFs tied to Bitcoin and Ethereum futures and things that make you go, why are they so quick to approve futures ETFs for Bitcoin and Ethereum, but yet we haven't had a Bitcoin spot in over a decade from the time the Winklevoss twins handed in the first application for the spot to the SEC. It's because they know damn right, as soon as we get that green light, it's going to usher in billions and eventually trillions into the market. The total addressable market is north of $700 trillion. And according to Samson Mow, we could get like a $1 million Bitcoin price days or weeks after the institutional money starts flowing into the ETFs. This is why I feel Gary don't want to give the green light, because he's allowing his homeboys, the BlackRocks, the Fidelities, and all of these massive asset managers to stack sats to seed their ETF products at these prices, such as $37,000. Because after the news breaks, I mean, would you rather seed your Bitcoin ETF at a 37,000 Bitcoin or 100,000 plus? Yeah, I mean, to me, that's common sense, but let me know your thoughts. Crypto fam, I'm going to read some more of these comments out loud. Fairgrounds, hey guys, watching from England. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone just joining us and tuning in. I greatly appreciate y'all. Much love, much respect. Punchy Coffee 2014, nope. Can't cry over spilled milk. I am just happy to be in now. Oh, word up. Welcome to the game. It's just good to be in the game. And if you're on the sidelines, what are you doing? Get in the game, because it is time. You know what I mean? There we go. Fix the screen for you. Dankness, what it do? This is your only warning. Next one will be a ban. Yeah, guys, don't be spamming or shilling anything in the chat. Have respect for your fellow Bitcoiners and crypto broskies, please. Steve says, looking forward to podcast number 410,200. Aren't we all? that episode will be extra lit, just saying. Yeah, smash the like, guys. I greatly appreciate that. Doggy Treat says December 2019, the first 0.018 BTC. Well, congratulations on get it in. Good time to get in. Thank you, JV, and all the mods. Appreciate y'all. Tim's Crypto is predicting Chile as a potential catalyst to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender. I hope you're right. I think many countries, especially in the Latin Americas, are going to be, embracing Bitcoin sooner than later. But with that being shared, now let's break down our next story of the day and discuss spot Bitcoin ETFs. Now that we have the Binance CEO, CZ, officially stepped down, paying that $4.3 billion settlement to the SEC, is this officially the green light we have been waiting for to get the approval? Let's discuss it. Binance's $4.3 billion settlement with the US SEC was the final hurdle before the country's securities regulator approves the spot Bitcoin ETF. Many industry watchers claim the settlement involved Binance agreeing to the Justice Department and Treasury compliance monitors for up to 5 years, allowing the agency's sweeping power to keep the exchange in line with anti-money laundering and sanctions rules, amongst other things. The US SEC and Commission has cited market manipulation when denying spot Bitcoin ETFs, and Binance's market dominance has had to take a hit before BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF app would be approved. According to this post by Travis Kling, Chief Investment Officer of Ikigai Asset management. Quoting him here, there is no chance, and I mean zero, that this ETF is approved with Binance in its current position of market dominance. And what's interesting, he initially made this post all the way back several months ago. He also said if this ETF is approved, Binance is either gone entirely or their role in price discovery is massively diminished. So here we go. And he shared here, let me read this post from November 21st, a lot of chatter on this BlackRock Bitcoin ETF, and rightfully so. BlackRock, more or less, is the US government. They have also received approval on 575 out of 576 ETF applications. One thing I'll say, there is no chance, and I mean zero, that the ETF will be approved with Binance in the way. Well, now Binance is officially out of the way, and interestingly enough, their new CEO is a member of the World Economic Forum. Now, Kling's prediction sparked others to consider how closely BlackRock works with the US government to obtain the favorable position in the spot Bitcoin ETF market. YouTuber Colin Talks Crypto said it was suspect that Binance's settlement happened right before a Bitcoin ETF comes out. I don't believe it's coincidence either. What are your thoughts, crypto fam? Quoting him here, is it a way for BlackRock to acquire massive amounts of Bitcoin for cheap? Is it a way to remove competition from the US markets right before the ETFs go live? I mean, great question. He also shares here, does it seem fishy to anyone else that Binance is being found guilty of money laundering right before a Bitcoin ETF comes out? Is there any connection? And for example, and I'll read you some more of his tweet over here on X. And I just read actually some of those. Or is there no connection at all? And I'm reading too much into this. I have learned to be very suspicious of government motives, and I don't blame him. I think you should be very suspicious and question everything personally. He also shares, how does the US have any right to find Binance guilty of anything? Binance isn't even located in the United States. Shouldn't his own country be charging him? USA's overreach is frightening. Yes, according to the Department of Justice, because investors located in the United States were still able to use the exchange, and so therefore that's how they got him allegedly here for that money laundering. Now, others noted BlackRock and its viral Vanguard together own 11.5% of Binance's top competitor, Coinbase. Things get even more interesting, and speculated that the action against Binance may have been planned. Yes, I would say so. BlackRock met with the SEC November 20th and presented how it could use an in-kind or in-cash redemption model for the spot Bitcoin ETF using the iShares Bitcoin Trust. Now, according to Andrew, he says Binance and the Department of Justice settlement and the SEC spot Bitcoin ETF approvals are mutuals. Just like that. Let me know if you agree. Grayscale, as I mentioned, also met with the regulator on the same day, discussing its bid to list the spot Bitcoin ETF. Also, we have Fidelity, worth $4.5 trillion. We have Wisdom Tree, Invesco Galaxy, Valkyrie, VanEck, and Bitwise, also awaiting the SEC approval for their spot Bitcoin funds. Now, Mike Novogratz, the CEO of digital asset investment firm Galaxy Digital, said the Binance settlement is super bullish for the crypto industry. Not everyone sees the point in guessing if the Binance news will lead to the spot Bitcoin ETF approvals. So let me know, do you feel we now have a clean path for them to launch these spot ETFs? Please do let me know, and I'll read some of these comments out loud before we dive into our next story of the day. Shout out to everyone just joining us on this special Thanksgiving Day. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you for supporting the show and supporting fellow Bitcoiner who believes in Bitcoin more so than anything else on this planet. So much love, much respect. Shout out to Cryptolution. What it do? Good to see you, fam. Oh yeah, Janet Yellen, you heard her saying Binance. She can't say Binance. She just says Binance, and she says it like a dozen times during that speech. Probably the most hilarious part. How many of you watched that with the DOJ? Let me know. Justin, where's the ETH donation address? Well, now that you've reminded me a dozen times, I promise you it's a coming. I just been a little busy. I'll eventually set that up, and you can send me some ETH. I greatly appreciate that. Nukchoris. Long live the legendary Nukchoris. You guys probably pronounce it wrong. It's Binance, Coinbase, Algorand, and USDC. Incoming CBDC. Let's not also forget, they're going after Kraken. And guess what? 10 months ago, they went after Kraken with a lawsuit, and they settled for $30 million. Now, round 2 of the shakedown continues. So they're shaking down the entire industry. I call this crypto choke point 3.0. It's like Nate Diaz got you in a chokehold right now. It's crazy. Unfortunately, I think Wall Street will own a huge chunk of Bitcoin in the future. It's our job to keep as much of it as possible out of their hands. Amen, Boz Dragon. Well said. You know that exactly because BlackRock is coming for your Bitcoin, and what Larry Fink wants, Larry Fink gets. Yellen doesn't seem very knowledgeable about this space. No, she's just a patsy. She's just there to look pretty. Yes, all clear to rock and roll. Well, let's go. Now that we got CZ slapped alongside the head. There you go. Good stuff, fam. Yeah, the fact they're going after the exchanges and not the tokens is like banning spoons because of the people that are fat. Good analogy there, Dankness. You make a good point. It is absolutely insanity. What up, JV crew? Very, very soon, 100,000 plus, all our hard work will be paid in full. You already know. And let's not forget, $1,000,000 fiesta, $100,000 fiesta party when Bitcoin breaks that six-figure mark right here in Puerto Rico. Looking forward to seeing you guys there. Make sure you're in the Discord at discord.cryptonewsalerts.net for the full details so you guys can join us. Yellen is 98 years old. Is she as old as Charlie Munger? I didn't know that. Diamond hands will prevail. They always do. That's what's up. Loop, Janet Yellen, Binance. Don't do it while you're driving. Oh, snap. Thanks for the warning, Steve. I have no credit card. Can I pay a tip with Ideal for your channel? So the different ways to tip me is through the super chats. Also, there is a credit card or debit card option in the show notes below you can use, where you'll also get recognition and acknowledged on the screen as well. So there's many ways to do so, or you can use the Lightning Network and just zap me some sats. Eventually, I'll have my Ethereum address on there, but at the current moment, I don't. But I appreciate it nonetheless, so thank you, fam. But we have so much more to cover, so let's discuss the super cycle of 2024, the cycle to end them all. Here we go. Now, this is a long 12-minute story, so I'm not going to read it all to you, but let's just go to some of the highlights, and you can check it out on your own as I include the resources from every live show in the show notes below the video in the description for you guys to check it out. I just want to fast forward to the meat and potatoes, moving forward versus studying the past. But as you know, you study the past to get an idea of where we're heading. That, my friend, is a fact. So I guess they're comparing Bitcoin to the dot-com technology bubble of 1992 to 1994. What does this mean for Bitcoin? Let's talk about it. According to Chainalysis, there is no sugarcoating it. Worldwide grassroots crypto adoption is down. However, as stated, lower middle income countries like India, Nigeria, and the Ukraine have seen increased adoption. That's what's up. And this is the only category of countries whose total grassroots adoption remains above where it was in Q3 of 2020, just before the most recent bull market, according to the report. And let me scroll down even a little further. Share of the North American transaction volume by asset type. You can see stablecoins, altcoins, and Ethereum versus the king, BTC. But let's break this down. Chances are it's super early in this cycle. While Dan Held introduced the idea of a Bitcoin super cycle, he had frequently said that people are still early in terms of getting into stacking sats. And while increased institutional adoption may give Bitcoin a rise in fiat value and greater routes for investment, all the following elements must be in play for a super cycle to be full swing. First and foremost, institutional demand. And guess what? We absolutely got that one, assuming BlackRock and other financial powerhouses are granted the spot Bitcoin ETFs in the US, which we all know is a given. The amount of investment from institutions and family offices, sovereign wealth funds, and high net worth individuals can give Bitcoin support in raising the fiat value to a certain level. Galaxy Digital, for example, predicts this will bring Bitcoin up to around that 59,000 level. Well, the next story I share with you in a bit is going to be discussing Bitcoin surpassing $1 million just due to this institutional demand. So don't sleep on this catalyst. Next up, we have the supply. The next Bitcoin halving event will occur in roughly 5 months in April at block height 840,000, and almost 97% of all the existing Bitcoin will have been mined. The final Bitcoin, just FYI, will officially be mined in the year 2140. This means the supply part of the supercycle equation is checked. Even if grassroots demand stay the same, this would indicate a higher fiat price. Still, as we've seen in previous cycles, a price increase will likely increase demand, at least in the short term, due to fear of missing out, better known as FOMO, like a mofo. And the next catalyst is the adoption. While some may buy Bitcoin for number go up reasons, its actual use will give it long-term value proposition. It is yet unknown whether Americans' economic and socio-political climate will nudge people to adopt Bitcoin as a medium of exchange or a store of value or a hedge against inflation or deflation, because Bitcoin is the ultimate hedge. But what are the probabilities of a 2024 Bitcoin supercycle? Thanks. This is the million-dollar question right here. Billionaire venture capitalist and serial blockchain investor Tim Draper thought the possibilities were for 2024 Bitcoin supercycle. According to him, I think it'll be the following cycle when we can run our business unimpeded by regulatory uncertainty, where we can buy our food, clothing, shelter, and taxes all in Bitcoin. Then we have Julian Linger, CEO of Bitcoin-only exchange Relay, who shared that the market will see a drastic reduction in supply due to the upcoming halving. While Bitcoin ETFs and the generally increasing interest in the asset, Bitcoin means a significantly higher demand. And also added the factors like a loss of confidence in fiat currencies, preach as that money printer continue to go, increased banking oversight, and the collapse of exchanges like FTX only strengthen the Bitcoin narrative. With BlackRock and other major players on board, I also think it is not unlikely we'll see a radical 180-degree turn in public perception of Bitcoin. Instead of a speculative asset that consumes as much electricity as entire countries, Bitcoin could soon be a safe haven promoting the transition to renewable energies. Preach. And we also have the BitGet CEO, Gracie Chen, who shared, in order for the supercycle to happen, the market needs ample funds to counter negative sentiments. Firstly, reestablishing easy access channels between traditional finance and crypto markets, especially after the suppression of 3 crypto-friendly banks. And secondly, global governments, including the US, must officially recognize Bitcoin assets as equal to gold and stocks. Well, we all know it's superior, just saying. This involves removing restrictions on the trading and holding of Bitcoin for the general public, such as introducing a spot Bitcoin ETF. Mr. Gensler, where you at? Such integration with traditional finance provides the foundation for widespread Bitcoin adoption, creating favorable conditions for the Bitcoin supercycle to materialize. So there you have it, my crypto fam. What are your thoughts on the Bitcoin supercycle? And what if we hit a double top? What if we hit $500,000 for this cycle peak? Like, whoa. Let me know your thoughts, fam, before we dive into our breaking story of the day and discuss Bitcoin surpassing $1 million per coin weeks or potentially days after the ETF launch. It's going to be lit. I'm just saying. Monty W, welcome, fam. So we may get to 200,000 top in the cycle. What about the bottom of the next? With institutions coming in, will the price drop as much? I'm excited about 200,000, but I really want that 1 mil in 2032. Well, I think there is a very favorable chance Bitcoin surpasses the $1 million sometime between the year 2028 and 2030, considering the next halving is 2024, the halving after that's 2028, the year preceding the halving, we typically hit the cycle peak. What will the drawdown be is a good question. Naturally, the larger the market cap becomes, the smaller the drawdowns will be. But historically, we've had drawdowns as high as 95%, which is wild, right? Even after hitting 69,000, what's the drawdown when we drop to 15,700, which is the current cycle low? If someone could run the math, that would be very helpful. Let me know. Diamond hands will prevail. They always do. Protein and produce for the vegans out there. Thank you, fam. You got to get your protein intake. Get your Bitcoin protein by stacking sats, because sats are like muscles for the body. Just saying, you need them. Take advantage of them. I mean, it is wild, but what are your guys' thoughts surrounding the super cycle? Yay or nay? Aloha JV, appreciate you, eCoin. What it do? Happy Thanksgiving for each and every one of you just tuning in. Don't forget, this is a live and interactive show. First and foremost, there is a live poll up right now with 198 votes. I need you to let me know when you feel the Bitcoin price will hit $1 million post ETF launch. Do you think it could happen years or years later, never, months after, or days or weeks after, as Samson Mow is suggesting, which leads us to our next story of the day. So now let's break down our breaking story of the day. Samson Mow is predicting the Bitcoin price to surpass $1 million per coin after the ETF approval and the money starts entering the crypto space. I'm also going to break down his math as well as his predictions on what countries will likely adopt Bitcoin next as legal tender over the course of the next 5 years. So massive shout out to the one and only Samson Mow. Let's start here. He tweeted, "It has come to my attention that there are some Bitcoiners that don't think Bitcoin can reach $1 million per coin in a matter of days or weeks after the ETF money starts to flow in. They're in for a pleasant surprise." And you can see the sentiment on that. People are lit. Shout out British Hodl Nut, and the rest of y'all. He also shares here, we will see a seismic shift to Bitcoin and sound money. The next 5 years will be incredible. Here's his predictions on which countries are likely to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender next. Guatemala in 2023. Let's go. Argentina in 2023. Send it. We have the Bitcoin halving next year, which we all know, set to occur in roughly 5 months. El Salvador, 2024. Panama, well, we know El Salvador already has Bitcoin as the legal tender. Panama, 2024. Mexico, that's one of my predictions. One of the next countries adopt Bitcoin as the legal tender. Canada, could you imagine that? By 2025, he says it could be this year, potentially next year. Peru, let's freaking go, 2026. And Nicaragua by 2026. Shout out Nicaragua. I used to live in Costa Rica, and we used to make our visa runs in Nicaragua as I lived in the north of Costa Rica. And of course, we have Panama in the south of Costa Rica, all neighbors of El Salvador as well. Latin America, let's freaking go. Now, which countries do you agree are likely to adopt Bitcoin as the legal tender in the years to come? Please let me know in that live chat. He also shares here a reminder, the ETF approvals will unlock a tidal wave of capital influx into Bitcoin. Pair that with the multiplier effect, and you get $1 million BTC. And he initially shared another tweet December 3rd of 2021. That was the year we hit the all-time high. And he said, approval of a spot ETF will send Bitcoin to $1 million per coin. And again, he predicted this 2 years ago. Over a few days. A few days. That means right after. Gary and the SEC don't want to be the ones responsible for sending Bitcoin to the moon. And this was off the back of Congressman Tom Emmer's tweet here. Gary Gensler, I'm still waiting on your response to our November 3rd letter asking you to make sense of why Bitcoin future ETFs are allowed to trade, but not Bitcoin spot ETFs. And he makes a great point. So Mr. Gensler, what are you doing? Why are you suppressing the growth of the entire industry by not allowing spot ETFs, but you allow futures like it ain't no thing? And Preston Pish responded, because Goldman, Gary, and you got to remember, Gary Gensler comes from Goldman Sachs. You got to remember, Gary was already worth hundreds of millions of dollars from Goldman Sachs before he became the chairman of the SEC. Gary needs to let his boys manipulate those cash-settled derivatives as long as he can. Preach. Shout out to Preston Pish. And let's go back to some more Samson Mow tweets. What effect does a $250 billion inflow into Bitcoin have over a period of days or weeks, given the incredibly inelastic supply of Bitcoin and the limited quantities available on the exchanges? I'd say numbers go up. And you can see here, let's do the math. Total assets under management of spot Bitcoin ETF applicants, $25 trillion. You times that by a 1% allocation, which is 0.01. You can run the math in your calculator. Times that by 118, which is the multiplier factor. Divide that by 21 million Bitcoin, which is the total supply. And we get a $1.4 million Bitcoin price. Let me know if you agree or disagree with some of this math. And massive shout out to Samson Mow. He also shares here, in 2017, it took 9 months for Bitcoin to go from 1,000 to 20,000. That's right. In 2017, I was there. I witnessed it firsthand. How many of you the same? The block subsidy was 12.5. There was a lot more Bitcoin sloshing around on the exchanges. Mining was boiling the oceans, and there was zero institutional money coming in. 1,000 to 20,000 is 20x. 50,000 to 1 million is 20x. So is it really that far-fetched that we hit $1 million Bitcoin price, considering we've already seen a $69,000 all-time high? I think Samson Mow does a great job breaking down this math. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree. And we also have the Church of Bitcoin Consciousness. Shout out to Bitcoin is Hope. He says, I predict by this time next year, Bitcoin will hit no less than $1 million per coin and possibly as high as 7 million. Now we're talking. Hits from the hopium bong, let's freaking go. Because all the ish money and banker racketeers have created has to disappear somewhere, and Bitcoin just happens to be the perfect toilet for that. Preach. Very well said. Let me know if you agree or disagree with these analysts, and let me dive deeper into Bitcoin hitting $1 million post ETF approval, shall we? We all know the Bitcoin price. The next logical target is going to be 42,000 in my opinion. Once we break this 38K resistance, there's not a lot in between there as far as resistance is concerned. And we also have Bitcoin Jack explaining the week's Binance and ETF news had failed to reshape market dynamics. Quoting him here, expected any rumor on a Binance versus US resolution to be more bullish than the price reflex. On top of the generally bullish headlines last week, minus Kraken, though. Much of it is more of the same earlier crackdown language recycled, introducing potential downside targets. So we know the upside target's going to be 42,000. The downside can be 30. But we have some analysts, like on-chain analyst Willy Woo, who is very skeptical that we ever return to a sub $30,000 Bitcoin price action ever again. Let me know your thoughts. Here's what this other analyst says. Sometimes that what doesn't happen is the tell. High time frame supporters below our clean buy level. If it comes, potential top here or another leg to 42,000 with support between 29 and 31. But now let's discuss this $1 million target, because it's a lot more exciting, isn't it? In its most recent social media survey, Phil, co-founder of Trading Suite, decent trader, shout out to Phil and Philip Swift, asked followers whether Bitcoin could hit 40,000 or 31st. The result was a near 50-50 split. What are your thoughts, fam? I think Bitcoin is more likely to reach clearly 40,000 than 30 as we're pumping. There's so much bullishness in the market. And even with the largest exchange in the world admitting, money laundering, their CEO, and stepping down, it hasn't barely affected the Bitcoin price action. We climb right back within 24 hours. And then, of course, we have the one and only Samson Mow, the CEO of Bitcoin adoption firm Jan3, who's making big moves in the industry, suggesting Bitcoin could not only hit $1 million per coin, but it could be a result of the approval that the hodlers were mistaking and predicting any less. As he shared here, it has come to my attention, there are some Bitcoiners, do you know any, that don't think Bitcoin could reach $1 million in a matter of days or weeks after the ETF money starts to flow in. They're in for a pleasant surprise. So there you have it, my crypto fam. Let me know if you agree or disagree that these mofos who are bearish or perma-bears are going to be in for a hell of a surprise. Roger Alexander, I am from Peru. Oh, wow. Now imagine that in your home country. Bitcoin legal tender. Let's freaking go. Gary Gensler is a load his mom should have swallowed. Nuckchorus, save the adult comments for the uncensored stream on Rumble. Please, I got to be careful about what I say here on YouTube. Just saying. Steve says 50-50. That's how the market is looking at the moment. Bitcoin may be a mill if Vitalik is in prison. Oh, word, Novum. What up, Novum? 7 million Bitcoin. I'll be on a jet with 9 figures. Let's go. William, bring on the 7 million. I'll be dancing in the rain. Won't we all? Joshua, prices made by retail on exchanges over the counter trade millions without moving the price. Do the ETFs move the price? I don't think so, says Joshua McLean. Well, we don't have any spot ETFs yet to judge it by, but I would imagine as demand goes up, it's going to cost them more and more money to get a hand on the Bitcoin that the long-term hodlers refuse to sell. So if there's a limited supply, I heard right now there's somewhere between 1.6 and 1.8 million Bitcoin on the exchanges. If you have these asset managers, the giants, just a handful of them control 25 trillion in assets under management, means there's not enough Bitcoin for their products, especially with the massive demand, the FOMO in the industry. When we hit all-time highs, everyone and their mom wants to buy some Bitcoin. So it's going to be hard for them to get a hold of it. Just saying. You know what I mean? Let's go. Yeah, Yellen has the charm of the unflushed toilet after the $2 taco night. Yeah, isn't she something? You guys are hilarious. Happy Thanksgiving, Crypto News Alerts fam. Thank you for appreciate that. Kachava is great all-natural vegan high-protein meal replacement shake. Good to note. Check it out. Tasty and the best nutritional profile for a shake I have ever seen. Appreciate the insights. You know what I mean? It's going to be wild. What do you guys think as far as a peak for the cycle top? And what year do you feel we're likely to peak out and hit that cycle top? My prediction, just straight up, as I mentioned earlier, I think it's going to be 2025 because previous cycles I have witnessed have said the same thing the year preceding the halving. We hit the cycle peak. And so I think 2024 will continue to be bullish naturally. There's just so many bullish catalysts. ETF arrival. We got the Bitcoin halving, the supply shock on the exchanges. You know what I mean? People fighting over your Bitcoin. So naturally, numbers will go up. But I think we're going to peak in 2025 and potentially see a double cycle top, which means we may hit 200,000 and then we think we're going to drop and we just keep going, maybe to 300, 400. I don't know. My prediction on the bearish side would be 220,000 per Bitcoin, which is Max Kaiser's short-term target. And my bullish scenario would be 500,000 by 2025. Could you imagine that? How lit will these shows be when we're looking at the price action saying $500,000 per coin? It's going to be pretty lit, fam. Pretty freaking lit. Greetings, man. What up, Necht? If I'm pronouncing your name right, appreciate you tuning in to the live. Welcome to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Happy Thanksgiving to the entire fam. And thank you for spending your Thanksgiving with me. It means the world. I truly mean that. Peak in late October of 2024 at 502,000. Now you're speaking my language, son. Let's go. 120,000 in 2024, 310,000 in 2025. Let's go, Steve. Send it. Null equals true. What do you think is preventing Bitcoin from passing 38 right now? Well, I think if the regulators didn't go after Binance and Kraken this week, we'd already surpassed 38. We kept retesting it and we were looking to break through. Then we got all this news, temporarily gave us a setback. But sometimes we got to take a step back to take a leg up. And I think that's what we're about to do, take that next leg up. You know what I mean? So that's one of the factors, but I think we're going to blow right through it. There's not much resistance in the way right now if you look at the charts. January 2025 predicts Milei. We shall see. I'm in the house. Welcome, Alice. Appreciate you tuning in. Happy Thanksgiving to the entire fam. Yeah, Ambrosia, what it do? Welcome, Chocolate Factory. Let's go. Nobody knows. Well, that's what makes it so exciting as well, the fact nobody knows. And I don't pretend to know either. I want to make it clear. Anything I say, take with a grain of salt. I'm just a YouTuber sharing the news and sharing my perspective. This is not investment advice whatsoever. First $100,000 party that we can see. Let's go. It's going to be lit. If you're not already in the Discord, fam, go ahead and enter the Discord because we're going to be having a $100,000 fiesta in Puerto Rico and you're all invited. Also, heads up, we have a competition running that's going to end in December, the last day of the year. And basically, it's a intro contest. So if any of you are creative and like creating intros that I can use for the show, the winner, I'll be using it every single episode. I suggest keeping the intro between 10 to 30 seconds max, preferably on the lower end, because we're going to be viewing it every day. The longer intros tend to get boring if people see the same thing over and over. So keep it short and sweet. And for more details, visit the Discord at discord.cryptonewsalerts.net. You're going to see a contest channel exclusively for the contest that we run here on Crypto News Alerts. And wishing you the best on that. Can't wait to see him. What up, Joseph? 500,000 after the ETF approval. 1 milli after the 2024 halving from the Philippines. Word up. We need Bitcoin to become legal tender over there in the Philippines. Beautiful place to be. Shout out over there. Just buckle up, says eCoin. You already know Bitcoin's about to go where no man has ever gone before. The frickin' moon, right? Where Dogecoin wish it can go. Elon says he was going to send Dogecoin to the moon. Just saying. I think that guy's gone a little crazy myself. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's going to get lit. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. It is Thanksgiving, so we're going to wrap up here. We're going to continue, though, with the uncensored version of the show on Rumble. If you don't know, now you know. While I stream live every day on YouTube, I'm simultaneously streaming on Rumble for the uncensored version. And when the YouTube stream ends, we continue on Rumble, and I can speak freely because here, I got to watch what I say. It's just the honest truth because there's certain things you can't talk about on YouTube. It's heavily censored. But on Rumble, I can say anything I want. I can exercise my First Amendment right of freedom of speech, and that's a beautiful thing. So I strongly encourage you to follow me over on Rumble. If you're not already following me, just go to rumble.cryptonewsalerts.net. You'll notice a link in the description, or just go to Rumble, type in Crypto News Alerts. You should see the live stream. It'll be lit. I have some JV React sessions already lined up for you. Looking forward to seeing you there, and I'll look forward to seeing you. Same bit time, same bit channel tomorrow. I appreciate you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Head on over to Rumble. See you there shortly. Deuces.